I think we were, I think we were probably trauma bonded, actually. And yeah, unfortunately, it was a cancer diagnosis. And if something's in your power to change it, like, do it.
Whilst dripping with sweat, I'm doing downward dog. I've never done that in my life, and I've got blimmin'.
Are you sure?
This isn't a clean podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole different. Nearly 3 years later, my meditation still looks different, like every night. It never looks the same. Mum at that point was going downhill quite rapidly, was aimed at the person who had been broken up with. They were the one that was heartbroken. I started noticing number repetitions, in particular 444. I just looked and felt like Hagrid. I don't think I brushed my teeth for maybe 3 days, which is disgusting, was mother's maiden name. So Mum she was just there. You're not a project. Yes, you're healing, but life is going on, so live it. You know, going back to Mum's mindset. Fuck it, live it.
Fuck it, yeah. Hello and welcome to Becoming Lucy with me, Hannah.
And me, Lucy. So today's episode, as most of them, is very honest, open and very human. We're talking about life after big endings, grief and identity shifts, and finding yourself again. All wrapped up in one journey that's equal parts of heartbreak, healing and a little bit of magic as well.
Yes, and we all face moments that shake everything we thought we knew about our lives. And sometimes the hardest part is navigating those moments alone.
And today we're joined by someone who's walked a huge journey of self-discovery over the past couple of years with courage, insight and remarkable growth along the way. Her story is one of endings, healing and stepping fully into herself. It's both relatable and inspiring. So Ali, welcome.
Thank you. My God, I nearly cried at that intro.
We like to make an impact on our guests.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And before we dive into the podcast episode, it's a little bit of a flip side today. Tell everybody a little bit how you and Hannah know each other.
Right. Well, me and Han, I think we were probably trauma bonded, actually. So we met, 7 years ago. We started in the same job. We were just each other's sort of buddies, weren't we? We used to wheel over to each other and sort of help each other out when we were, needing it and struggling in a new sort of
in the product world.
Yeah. And it just sort of formed from there, didn't it? We kind of used to like go out on dinner, and then pandemic hit and we carried on meeting up and formed a strong friendship from there, really. But I did always kind of know Hannah without actually knowing her. So Rob, Hannah's fiance, I actually met, however many years ago, 2008, way back when, in our first season repping. So I always knew Rob, and then, social media, you know of people even when you've never even met them. So I always used to see Hannah sort of popping up on Rob's social media, and then we formed our own friendship, and now, as Han says, she's stolen me from him. So.
Literally, it's literally that. I'm like, I'm seeing Ali, I'm doing this Bali, and he's like, well, I'll just ask you how Ali is for you then, shall I? Because we're clearly not friends anymore. But no, I think that's what's like so weird about our friendship, isn't it? Like, you were knew Rob first, and obviously we, like you said, did through the crazy and wild times as senior product execs. Yeah, definitely. But it was lovely though, wasn't it? And then, like you said, we just carried on forming that friendship, and and sort of till now, really. It's
the rest is history.
The rest is history. I think Amber and Loki also played a big part in that. So Amber is Ali's dog, and we've done many a dog walk together, haven't we? Rain,
both
shine,
down
snow.
Dogs, weren't they? Within a few months of each other, both as loopy as one another when they get on a walk together. They've definitely sort of wrapped us in knots in the dog leads and whatnot before, haven't they? So
yeah. And I think this is going to surprise, well, most people that know me, Ali and Luce, is actually me and Ali have only ever got drunk together once. In our whole friendship, we've only ever got drunk together once, and that was at a Christmas party where we just had to get leathered to get through it. We were like, this is like a whole year of stress coming out, and every time we meet up, we're like, right, let's go for a bottomless, let's go and do this, let's go out.
We've planned so many times, haven't we? And then we
Yeah.
always just end up, should we go for a walk? Do you want to
Yeah.
just come round for a cuppa?
And then we just go to each other's houses and then we just like talk life, don't we? And I
Yeah.
think we're going to talk about a lot of that as we get through the episode. But I think
Yeah.
that's definitely what one of our strong bonds is about, isn't it? Like we just
Absolutely.
talk
Yeah.
about.
I think, yeah, we talk about everything and anything. You know, I was saying this to a friend the other day that I think you've got friends that you've known since day dot and they've known you in all these different phases of your life, but then your adult friends just they're so different, and like you're one of those, and yeah, we just get right into the sort of deep and meaningful straight away, and there's no alcohol needed. We just get right in there.
Obviously, going on to these deeper, meaningful chats, let's take you back then, Ali. It wasn't actually that long ago, was it, compared to a lot of our guests? I mean, was it 2022, 3 years ago? So this
Yeah.
is when basically the first of a series of life-changing events basically started for you. So take us there. Who was
Yeah.
Ali and what was happening?
So too, obviously, we were just sort of like coming out of pandemic times, as we've said. Things were just starting to get back to normal. I think we'd literally had like the very last of the sort of lockdown, you know, regulations and stuff lifted. We had a family party. It was my auntie's 60th. We all went to this party. We all got COVID. None of us had it all the way through. And yeah, a load of us ended up with COVID. Me, mum, dad, my boyfriend at the time included. Mum's just took that bit longer to shift, and then her symptoms kind of started changing, and then it was sort of, you know, really becoming a bit like, okay, there's something more going on here. And yeah, unfortunately, it was a cancer diagnosis. And so that was in May 2022, which just sort of flipped everything on its head. It's just the last thing you expect to. It's so common, like you hear of so many people that are affected by cancer, but it's the last thing you expect for somebody so close to you to be diagnosed with. So yeah, it was a big blow. It wasn't a great diagnosis, or it wasn't a great prognosis, unfortunately, but mum being mum was amazing. The first year she was just, mindset was amazing. She took the bull by the horns. The treatment, thankfully, wasn't as invasive as some treatments can be. She didn't lose her hair. She was a little bit sick from, it was chemo that she had. And it was being used as preventative rather than cure. So it would just slow things down and make her a little bit more comfortable. Honestly, you would not have known she was ill. You wouldn't. She looked amazing. She was out living her best life, and that really kind of hit me. Like that, her mindset was just so. My mum's always been strong-minded. I've always known that about her, but I'd never seen her in this light before. She was just like, fuck it, almost. And you know, she was off doing the things she wanted to do, meeting the girls for coffee, the things that she's always done, like still keeping that really close to her. She's got 4 sisters, 1 of 5, who she's been really close with like my whole life. So still going off and doing things with them, girls trips and, you know, days out and going on holiday with my dad and all that sort of stuff. And I was just like, yeah, like if mum can be like that, then that's how we all have to be as well. So we all went along with that. And the first year, there was probably times that we even forgot that she was ill, which was great in the moment. But I think looking back, it did give us a little bit of maybe a false sense of security because, we did kind of, you know, push it to the back of our minds what the prognosis actually was.
So, like, just on that, would you rather sit and have your mum really upset and so scared about what was happening, and that was still always going to be what was going to happen, or like you said, how your mum was, and be able to have those joyous moments and laugh with her, and even though you might have forgotten, and it give you that false sense of security every now and again, to live her life like that,
100%, 100%. Because I think as well, like when we first got that diagnosis, your mind almost went into, we're going to lose her straight away. Like this could be the last time I'm going to see it.
What cancer did she have, if you don't mind me asking?
So at the time they didn't know because it had multiplied and spread into lots of different areas, but eventually they pinpointed it as ovarian cancer, which is one of the most difficult ones to spot. In hindsight, we see all these little things now, so, and we realize that actually they might have been symptoms and they could have been kind of, pointers to the cancer, but we just didn't know.
What were they then? Just for anyone that's listening, it's really good to be educated on things like this, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's things like acid reflux. She had acid reflux for years when I think about it. Like me, white wine lover. Favorite time of the week was a Friday evening when she'd get on the settee with a glass of Sauvignon Blanc, and that was her thing. And then it kind of got to a point, I don't know, maybe like, and I'm not saying she had the cancer for this long, but maybe like 3 or 4 years previous, where it was starting to really repeat on her. Certain foods obviously were doing the same, and she just put it down to age, or sometimes you have too much of a good thing and you can't have it anymore. Like a lot of us would, think, oh, just my body's changing, just can't have that. Bloating was a really big one for her. That was what kind of alerted us to, something really isn't right here. She had really bad bloating all on the very top of her stomach. You say your tummy, but where her actual stomach was. Wow. Hard bloating. She'll kill me for saying this, but eventually difficulty going to the toilet as well. And I'm sure there's loads of others that I'm perhaps just not aware of, but they are, some of the ones. Yeah.
And also through this, you went through a big shift yourself then, didn't you? A bit of a,
I did,
I don't know if it was awakening, but tell us more about that, because you ended an 8-year relationship at the same time, did you?
Yeah, just shy of 8 years. So lived together, had a dog together, just going along thinking, this is it. And I don't know, maybe it could be tied in with what was going on with mum and mindset and looking at life differently. I would say I almost don't believe in coincidences. So the fact that I was just about to say, or was it a coincidence? I think it probably was maybe that was... I'd known for a long time that things weren't right, but I think it was maybe those shifts that were happening in the other area of my life that made me realize, hang on a minute, you need to be 100% happy wherever you can be. And if something's in your power to change it, do it. There was a lot of sort of chain events that had gone on throughout the relationship that I'd just sort of swept under the carpet. And I'm not saying that I was perfect in it all either, because I wasn't. But eventually I just kind of had a bit of a epiphany moment one really random day. We just had a barbecue in the back garden with some friends over and had a bit of an argument, and I was just like, that's it. In my head, I just knew that was it. Still took me a few months to kind of admit it to myself and to deal with it myself a little bit, but exactly that. Ended an 8-year relationship, which was just crazy.
And still to this day, you said it was one of the hardest decisions of your life, and sort of support online or in real life felt quite scarce. And obviously more guidance was aimed at the person you've broken up with rather than you. So how did you navigate that feeling of the support you thought you would have, but almost because you had made that decision, it wasn't coming back at you?
Yeah, it was so weird, because obviously I had this huge thing going on with mom, and then this other huge thing going on that I kind of compartmentalized them both. So when I was with mom and dad or family, that's what was going on with my life, and that's what I was dealing with. And then when I was back in the other side of my life, whatever you want to call it now, that relationship side of things, that's what I was dealing with. I almost shut off what else was going on. It was really hard, kind of knowing where to go and who to talk to. Obviously everybody's busy and you never want to put that burden. I know it's not that, but you do feel that way, don't you? You don't want to put that burden on anybody else. So I started looking myself, just resources on the internet, social media, actually does have some incredible things on there. It's got some shit on there, but it's got some incredible things on there as well. Podcasts, books, all that kind of thing. But like you say, Han, what I really found was so much of it was aimed at the person who had been broken up with. They were the one that was heartbroken. They were the one that had been wronged on by. It was lots of quotes and texts if they can't see your worth, then they're not worth having, sort of thing. And I'm that's me. I'm that. Am I not worth being had? Do you know what I mean? It was really confusing, and it was a really difficult decision. And even though it was me who instigated, I was still completely heartbroken that this life that I had imagined and was living was no more. So I think really I then compartmentalized that side of things even more and
Yeah.
swept so much of it under the carpet. And if anyone said to me, like if I was in a conversation perhaps with someone at work who, didn't realize, it's not the kind of thing that I was going around like shouting from the rooftop sort of thing. My nearest and dearest knew, but otherwise it was just people finding out as and when. And I'd find myself saying like, oh yeah, I've gone through a breakup, and people would go, oh, I'm sorry. And I go, oh, it's fine. I called it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fine. I
Yeah.
wasn't fine. And it
Yeah.
actually took me a lot longer after to deal with that.
Yeah. I think I can totally resonate with the just because you're the one that breaks up with someone automatically puts you in like a villain position.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I did that with an ex of mine. I made that decision, and I agree. I was totally heartbroken still. And you kind of go on to that, what's that phrase? Oh, rebound. I felt like I rebounded really quickly after that. And that was because I had finished with him, I was just trying to be brave and be like, just I made the decision, I should feel fine about this, like,
Yeah.
and I just rebounded really quickly and then had to reflect and kind of figure my stuff out after. So I definitely think that the support for people who have done the breaking up, so to speak, should be out there, definitely.
Yeah, I can
I think-
relate those with the whole
No,
COVID
yeah.
thing though, because it's harder in COVID because you can't fucking rebound. Like I had someone break up with me the first week of COVID. I moved in my new house. It was obviously COVID and got broken up with via WhatsApp. I couldn't go out. I couldn't go like and rant. I had to obviously FaceTime my mates. I couldn't go out on the piss. I couldn't go around and shout at them and scream at them. I wasn't allowed out. Do you know what I mean?
So you had to actually deal with it there and then.
fucking deal with it.
And that's the hardest thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually dealing with it. Yeah. I'd sort of we stayed living together for the first couple of months just because it's how it had to be, kind of finances and practicalities and whatnot. And then moved myself into an Airbnb flat just because it was convenient. It was fully furnished and everything was just all included in the rent. But like,
That was spenny though, wasn't it?
oh my
I remember you
God,
being like, I'm so skinned.
I literally left myself with nothing, but at that time I had no other option. So I just kind of had to like power through and make it work. And I mean, thank God I did, because, eventually you do come out the other side. But Lucy, with you saying like, you were isolated in COVID, like you just had to deal with it. I was living on, I had like £85 a month left after paying all the bills and the car and the petrol and the food shopping. It was like, I may as well have been, completely, because I wasn't like, going out and doing the things that you might want to do after a breakup. And also I didn't want to do because of mum.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you found meditation then here, is that correct?
Yeah.
This where it came your safe place? Tell
Yeah.
us more.
Absolutely that. I mean, I've always been into yoga, as Nan knows. And I think like the yoga and meditation sort of go hand in hand. And I remember when I was doing my yoga teacher training, we'd sit and we'd do these like meditation sessions, and I'd be thinking, my back hurts, I'm bored. So, like my mind was sort of racing everywhere. I'd just never got on board with it. And then sort of during the breakup, I'd probably say, so when we were still living together, but we were separate, we'd sort of, gone into like separate bedrooms, separate parts of the house. And just of an evening, one night, I was just like, I need to just sit and be quiet. And I just need to like, just gather everything that's going on in my head. And it was just, I found myself looking forward to it every night. I'd be thinking, oh, I can nearly go and like go in my room and and meditate. Yeah, I think at the time I maybe didn't realize that that's what I was doing, but it was just that half an hour before bed where it was quiet and I didn't have to feel like I was on eggshells or, what am I going to say or what's he going to say? Or it was just my time, my space. I shut my eyes and everything else wasn't going on around me. I just found that calm and that quiet.
And what were you thinking about then when you were meditating? Because I think for me, when I think about meditating, because my brain is what you've described, and I probably would really benefit from meditating. You probably look at me both thinking, yeah, you really would. And I've practiced gratitude quite a lot, which obviously me and you have talked about, Ali. But the meditating side of things, I think that's what I'm nervous about, sitting there and thinking about all the shitty things that are going on and all the great things. But your mind has got a horrible way of taking you to anxiety, to the panic, to the worry, to what's going on, to what if this happens to that person. And in your case, a breakup and your mum's diagnosis. So what were you thinking about? And were you actively trying to push through those sort of negative areas in your life to get to the gratitude side of it? Or were you doing a bit of both? Like, explain to us what you were thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, at first, like I said, it was just trying to find that quiet and that stillness. And when you're in that quiet and that stillness, yeah, that's when the thoughts come. Like you can't control them. And this is the thing with meditation. People think it's sitting down, cross-legged on the floor and clearing your mind. It's your mind's job to think. You're never going to clear it completely unless you reach real enlightenment. And I think only bloody Buddha does that. You know what I mean? Like we're human and we've got busy lives. So clearing your head completely, it's such a big ask. So I found that as soon as I took that pressure off myself, that helped. Sometimes I'd sit there and every intrusive thought came at me. Sometimes I'd sit in tears. Sometimes I'd have happy thoughts. Sometimes I would think of the most random shit that I'd not thought of for months and years. And it just sort of came, popping back into your head. It really was a journey. That sounds so cliche, but it really was. And I think for me, meditation, like I said, it isn't necessarily always just sitting there in silence. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you do need that. But sometimes it's sitting and journaling. Sometimes it's maybe sitting in quiet, but with like a little bit of meditation music on in the background, or doing a guided meditation if you do struggle with those thoughts, like having somebody literally talking you through, like, if you go on YouTube, there's loads of different things. For me, I found the music one worked best, just having that kind of in the background to almost keep my focus from going wayward and going everywhere. But even now, nearly 3 years later, my meditation still looks different, like every night. It never looks the same.
I can definitely agree with you on that one. I think everyone always thinks, like you say, cross-legged, but everyone's got their own way. And like my mum, I mean, I can go, like she does open circle. That's more spiritual side where they open up the third eye. And she'll have people trying to do it guided. She's like, no, that doesn't work for me. I'm not doing it your way. And she's quite stern in her words. And it is, everyone has their own ways. And like today, I shut myself down. And I was like, I'm just going to do, me and Hannah will go into this, obviously like manifestation work. And for me, when I'm doing it again, I like the music. I like to play like certain hertz to obviously what it is, if it's like love, gratitude, healing or anything like that in the background. But for me, I know what works for me is not only visualizing it, but using your senses so you can get deeper into that so your thoughts don't go. And I heard a thing today and I used it to try and get down there. It was like, if you get a lemon and you get a lemon, you smell them, you can smell it. If you put the lemon zest in your mouth, you can taste it. You can do all these things and what's it feeling like? And I think for me, that works more for my meditation to take myself more deeper. And like I say, it's not really like meditation away because you're still thinking, but it's getting away from those other thoughts that will just pop in now and again. Like, because we're all going to have negative thoughts. Do you know what I mean? They'll pop in, but it's just how you deal with it in that moment. So I agree.
I remember when I had therapy though, it's kind of linked to this a little bit actually, just as you were saying that, she was always like, when you're feeling those emotions and those thoughts, feel it. Like, don't try and run away from them. That's what I always used to do. They would creep in and I would then just ignore them and just think about something else. And she was like, you need to embrace those emotions and just work through them. And I remember that bit of therapy and I do try and remember that now to this day.
100%.
I'm like, if I feel this way, let's just feel it. Let's just see when it goes. And that was a really, really good bit of advice that I got from when I had therapy. That, like I said, I feel like I've lost a little bit, which is probably where maybe meditation will help me a little bit. But it's just literally finding that space to start. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I think it's just trying out and finding the one that is right for you. Because maybe sitting with the quiet isn't for you. Like a moving meditation can work really well, like yoga, like going on a walk.
I like my yoga.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We did these ones at camp, you know, you have to shake your body, and
like literally
everyone looked
shaking.
like they were
Yeah.
on LSD on acid. Like, you open your eyes, but it was
But
fun, and again, it's
again,
just releasing that
it
tension,
Yeah.
isn't it?
works though, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
works. I
So
went on like a bit of a yoga trip earlier this year, and one of the sessions we did in the evening, he was doing that. It was a yoga class, but it had that kind of like somatic style like inspiration to it. And we didn't do loads. We shook our arms a bit, we shook our legs, and sort of swung around a little bit. Oh my God, I sobbed at the end of that
yeah,
class. Like I couldn't
yeah, a
tell you
few people
why,
out of mine did
but
as
I also
well.
couldn't stop.
It's mental, isn't it, how so many people can react to different things?
Yeah, yeah,
And now I'm gonna take us to April 2024. So,
yeah,
unfortunately, you did lose your mum. That
yes,
period you described as a blur. You weren't just grieving her, you were grieving, obviously, your old life with a hole
yeah.
in that. So, I mean, tell us more. What parts of your old life were you grieving then?
Just the fact that everything was different. So we'd broken up in the August 23. I'd moved out into the Airbnb, like I mentioned, November 24. Was telling myself, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm here in this flat. I'm doing it myself. Everything's okay. I need to focus on mum. Mum at that point was going downhill quite rapidly. So yeah, April 24, we lost her. The week before, maybe 2 weeks before, I just moved out of the Airbnb into a rental. So everything was just everywhere. And yeah, like I just, at the time, I didn't realize it. At the time, it was mum's past. That's what I'm grieving because that's what I'm supposed to grieve. That's what you
Mm.
do when you lose someone. But I think it was my sister said to me on a FaceTime chat, maybe even within the week after losing mum, she was like, you've got so much loss in your life. You've lost your relationship. You've lost your dog. Like I do still have Amber part-time, but I was used to having her with me all
Yeah.
the time. You've lost your house. You've lost everything that, or a lot of
Yeah.
what's familiar to you. So yeah, that's just on the whole sort of what I was like feeling.
Mm.
Yeah. And let's just talk about that grief then. Obviously, did you grieve collectively all those things that your sister mentioned, or were you able to take time and grieve about your mum, then think about the other things that you were sort of losing at that time? Like, how did you navigate through that time where when you lost your mum and lost everything that your sister mentioned?
God, I don't even know. I think, like I say, mum was definitely the main kind of thing that, I was definitely grieving. I think I was grieving those other things, but I just don't think I quite realized that until later on. And then more recently have allowed myself to separately, if you like, grieve those other things as well. I went through sort of the textbook stages of grief, with like the anger and the depression and then the reasoning and that kind of thing. And I do think that was very much focused around, more probably so around mum, because that was that physical loss. And again, I think probably because part of my brain still thought, you called it, you should be fine. Even though I knew that wasn't the case. Yeah. And do you know as well what maybe also has had some kind of influence on how I grieved? My ex, because we were still in contact because of the dog and because obviously he knew my mum like for nearly 8 years. He actually really supported me through that. He stepped up as an incredible friend and really helped me through a chunk of that time. So again, that probably actually didn't allow me to maybe grieve all of that side of things
Yeah.
as well.
I want to spill another little secret here, because
Gosh.
I know about this stage, but I think it's really interesting. And you've nicknamed it yourself as the Hagrid stage, basically, which is the depression that followed,
Yeah.
obviously, this huge grief that you were going through. So first of all, explain to everyone what the Hagrid stage was, and also how did you get out of it? You obviously did your yoga, your walks, the gym, etc., etc. But yes, explain Hagrid and how you got out of it.
So the Hagrid stage. So yeah, that is when I think this is going to sound so bizarre, and I'm probably not sort of verbalizing it properly, but there was almost a point after Mum had passed where I think that it was almost like adrenaline. Everything that had been going on during her illness and the funeral, like, you kind of just like carrying yourself through on a wave, and then eventually everything just came crashing down. And that was the start of the Hagrid stage. So it got that lovely nickname because I had my hair in a ponytail, and it stayed in that ponytail for about 7 days. And this bit of the hair just started getting greasier and greasier and greasier, but the ponytail was just getting more and more matted. And I just looked and felt like Hagrid. I don't think I brushed my teeth for maybe 3 days, which is
Wow.
disgusting,
Do you
but
know
like
what? They say, I learnt this when I had my thing, the first sign when someone's going through trauma is one of the things that you start declining is your teeth. And if you're looking
really?
after anybody, it's just the simple routines of like brushing your teeth. You
See,
like, well, we don't need to do that. I need to do this instead.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because unfortunately, I mean, I'm okay now, but sorry to go on a tangent, but when I had my accident, I don't like my teeth anyway. Different story. So I was looking into getting like braces and stuff to obviously fix it. Born with a cleft, it's not that easy. So I went through the cleft hospital and everything was fine. They were going to put the braces on, did the x-rays, just sent me away. And literally the day later, they rang me up and they were saying, basically, I can't have braces because if I have braces, there's a very good chance that all my teeth will fall out because the
Wow.
bone density had gone
Oh,
so
wow.
much from my top jaw. And they're like, but we can't see any gum disease, but that's like a thing from gum, because obviously you're able to see gum disease and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they said anything. I mean, it probably didn't help the amount of alcohol smoking and all that I did in my 20s. But they also say when you go through trauma, and a lot when we did a family history, like obviously on my mum's side, like when they've lost babies, stillborns, like losing legs, obviously a pattern in the family. But they did lose their teeth, and again, it's one of those things. One, if you're not looking after them, and obviously trauma can affect your bone density. Yeah.
God. Well,
Sorry,
no, I
little
did not
fact.
know that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But
3 days,
I
that's
did
still enough,
3
though, isn't
days.
it? Like, it's still
Yeah.
enough. And yeah, I think that's definitely a telltale sign and that's not you. Like, if you're watching this, you'll see how beautiful Ali is and very
Oh,
naturally
thank
pretty
you.
and
Cracking teeth.
cracking teeth. Yeah, cracking teeth, despite the 3 days not brushing them. Anyone listening that's single, she does brush her teeth more regularly
do
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, carry on.
I can't. What was I talking
About
about?
not brushing
Hagrid.
your teeth.
Hagrid, not brushing my teeth. Yeah. So yeah. I was just minging, really. You know, didn't go in the shower, didn't change. Was just, yeah. I wouldn't say like I couldn't be bothered. It's just that it just didn't enter my head that I needed to do those things. It just didn't seem that it was like a worthwhile thing that I needed to be doing. Then it kind of turned into this whole like anxiety thing. And if I'm honest, I can't really tell you whether that was part of the depression stage or whether it was something separate. It, like I said, it was all a bit of a blur, but anxiety kind of came in off, you know, shortly after or during Hagrid. And it then started, like, the grief was like physically coming out of my body. I'd get like a really bad lump in my throat, like I'd feel like as part of like the anxiety. And I didn't know it was anxiety. And I would never, I think that word's quite, it's used in a lot of
Yeah.
spaces. And, you know, I would never want to sit there and be like, oh, I'm anxious, because I'd feel like, I don't know, I'd just feel like a bit of a, like I was making it up. Like, I know it's not that.
Yeah.
And I would never even think that about anyone else. So why I would think that about myself, I don't know. But it was my grief counsellor that recognized that it was anxiety. And I was then starting to get, like I say, like these really like horrible lumps in my throat, like you do when you're like nervous about something. But then I'd lose my voice. Like literally my voice would just completely go and it'd be gone for a couple of days. Or you get your nervous belly. But then again, I would, and I'm sorry if this is TMI, but I'd go to the loo and have very bad diarrhea. Night sweats like I've never had before. Like, I mean, like having to change my pajamas and my bedding because I'd just wake up absolutely just soaked in it. It was like the literal grief leaving my body. No, because then it sounds like it's gone. Of course it
That's
doesn't
so
go, but you know what I
interesting, though,
mean?
isn't
It was like
it?
a physical
Yeah.
release, and it all kind of moshed in together with like some of the different phases and stages.
Just always think it's mental, don't you? You never think you're going to have a physiological
Yeah.
reaction to grief.
I did think, what is going on with me? Well, like, am I ill? Like, I don't feel ill, but yeah, like you say, this physical stuff was going on. And then it was the grief counselor that kind of identified that that's probably like a part of anxiety. And I think you asked as part of your question, how did I like start to deal with Hagrid and kind of move through it? And grief counselling was a massive, massive part of it. That really did help me. I was very fortunate to be offered grief counselling through work, which I did pretty quickly, more or less. I think it was like the June that I started that, so quite soon after. And she gave me a lot of tools to recognize like how I could move forwards. My main thing that I took away from it was riding the wave. That was like my biggest takeaway from therapy, that you can apply to so many parts of your life. Like you were saying, Han, earlier, you might want to resist these things and you don't want to feel this way, and you just want to feel normal again, but you can't rush it. And the more you fight whatever emotion or, feeling or thing that you're experiencing, the more you fight it and the resistance and resist it, the longer it's going to take. So just roll over, let the wave take you. It feels shit, but you'll come back out the other side like so much quicker.
Yeah. And talking, because obviously I know you kind of went more down the spiritual path after this. And obviously I've been there, and I know again with your voice and stuff, it's like your throat chakra, if your stomach's off and everything like that. Is this something that led you into that from then, or did that come later?
No, so it was actually, again, if we kind of rewind a little bit, after I'd moved out my house, or our house as it was, I started noticing number repetitions, in particular 444. And I've never, yes, I've always been in tune with like spiritual kind of things, just because it does sort of go hand in hand with yoga, but I'd never really explored it. And with the 444, I was like, I've heard of angel numbers, but I don't know what they are. I've noticed this, like it's popping up a lot. Like on Instagram, I'd click on a post and it'd be like 444 likes, or car registration, or on a weighing, like if I was weighing, because I used to weigh out macros and stuff for my food. If I was weighing my food, it would be like like I've got pictures of my phone of so many random
We are so bad for
444s.
that at the moment as well, me and Hannah. Anything that's 111 or 222, it's like...
222. And I brought
when
that
you
to your attention,
notice
Ali. Do you
it.
remember? We'll get on to that in a minute. But you were the first person I talked about this with.
Yeah. And when I kind of noticed that, hang on, this is happening more and more, I thought, I'm just going to Google what it means. And it said, basically, you're on the right path. And I thought, well, do you know what? Whether you believe in that kind of stuff or not, regardless, that's a really nice message. And I'm going to take some comfort in that. It kind of dwindled off a little bit. And then after Mum passed, and again, got this screenshot on my phone. As she passed on the 8th of April, I've got a screenshot on my phone of on the morning, early hours of the morning of the 9th of April. I'd obviously not been able to sleep, open Instagram as you do, and not on my like follower page, on is it the Explore or the For You page or something, like when it chucks up random stuff, the first thing that was on there was 444, and it said underneath it, whoever's reading this, know that basically everything is going to be okay. You will heal. You will love again. You will do this. You will do that. And I thought, chuffing hell, it's there again. So I screenshotted it. And then again, I cannot tell you how many times, like even today, I've seen it. Like whenever I just need like a little boost from the universe or that little bit of reassurance, it just pops up all the time. And along with that, when Mum had passed, we started to get signs. And again, believe what you want to believe, like whether you think it's from her or whether you think it's a coincidence or whether it's just little synchronicities from the universe, really is irrelevant. but the number of signs that we were getting that were just providing us so much comfort were just too much to ignore. And even like my dad and my sister, who are a bit more cynical than me, they're not as like woo and, you know, they be a bit more asking, oh, hang on a minute, like asking questions. Even they've had things that like they can't deny and they can't ignore. Yeah. Lots of, just lovely synchronicities. Over the last couple of years.
And I think, like you said, whether you believe in it or not, and like Lucy alluded to, me and Lucy are well into our twos and ones at the minute. And again, every time we're looking at phones, it's coming up with like 2222 or 222 and things like that. And we're constantly messaging each other. And I'm probably, out of the three of us, the one that sort of is less spiritual, but I definitely have believed in it more over the years. And like I said, I came to you, didn't I? We were sat in my house and we were chatting, and I was like, right, you do your numbers, don't you? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, this keeps happening. I keep seeing 2222. Do you remember?
We Googled it,
and we Googled it, and it was basically very similar, because we even took the piss and we were like, brilliant, we're both on the right path. But like we talked more about it, didn't we? And then it was like you said, it's just that kind of comfort of going, if you're seeing something this regularly, and it's since me and Lucy have started the pod that for me it's come right back up again. So it was about 18 months ago when I showed it to you, I'd say, Ali, and then like you said, it sort of it carried on, then tailed off, and then since me and Lucy have started this pod, it's everywhere. Everywhere I look, I see 2222, and then Lucy's also seeing like 111. So it's very much that kind of the ones and the twos. Sounds like I'm going to rap. I'm not, by the way. But obviously, again, as me and Lucy have been like working on this stuff, we've been talking a lot more about the spiritual side of things as well. And like I said, I think out of the three of us, I'm probably the least one. But it doesn't matter. Like if it's that reassurance, if it's that comfort, if it's that exciting feeling of, I've just seen 222 again. This must mean something in our future, or this is going to be this. And then it's that links in with that manifestation and sort of like even things like vision boards and like, where do you see yourself? And it's almost like going back to your childlike state and daydreaming. And you're just sitting
that's
there.
so lovely, like that innocent. You know, we all lose that innocence, don't we? Of when we're children, and like believing that actually, something magical might be happening.
Exactly.
Like,
it was so much better when the Tooth Fairy and Santa was real. There is true magic out there. And
100%.
again, I just wanted to add, obviously with the numerology, I was teaching Hannah today more about like numerology as a thing, like what numbers mean. We've been talking about it a lot, and it's coming to that time of year when it's like 2026 is going to be my year. And I was like, right, Hannah, I'm going to educate you on something today. So I was like, so 2025 is the year of a 9. So if you add 2 to 5, it's 9. And that means it's all about endings, closure, clearing space, relationship shifts, careers realign, old patterns resurface, like say, like some dramatic exit, and
one
the
massive
universe.
Mercury
Exactly. There's about 6 planets apparently retrograde at the moment. We'll go into that. I say it at work all the time. It's like the machine's down. It's like it's Mercury retrograde.
What? I just want to see 2222, guys.
Everyone's like, what does it mean? I'm like, I don't really know, but it's that.
But then 2026 is the year of the 1. So if you add it up, it's into 10. But the numerology only goes up to 9. So 2026 is the start of a fresh 9-year cycle. It's about new beginnings, momentum, stepping into growth. And again, when you look at it and align it with like Chinese New Year, honestly, I'm right into this today. Basically, 2025 was the year of the snake, and that's like shredding your skin, transformation. And 2026 is the year of the horse, which is about moving, charging on, confidence, forward energy. So again, for any of our listeners, I know you might not be into it, or you might be absolutely like me, but 2026 will hopefully give you a little bit of hope, if anything, and clarity to obviously step into this next, obviously, chapter with confidence.
That's amazing. I did not know that about the numerology. And it's funny because you're so right. Like, it's everywhere, isn't it? Like 2026, well, you know, what's going to do your vision board, do this, do that, and it can be a bit overwhelming. And I did think the other day, like, oh fuck, what's 2026 going to be like? Like, I've had such a good 2025. Like, I don't want to go back. I started getting into this bit of a kind of cycle with my thinking where I was almost worried, and then I was like, no, 2026 can be even better. Like
Yeah.
you've moved this far, you're going to carry it on.
Yeah,
Like
you're going to
stop
charge
thinking
like
that.
the Chinese horse.
Now I know. Yeah, now I'm a horse.
Just don't eat it.
Oh, God.
well.
Well, talking of numbers, let's go back 2 years actually, before 2026. Let's go back to
Okay.
October 2024, because this was also a really amazing moment for you. You felt like your life was coming back together and you bought and moved into your own house that we talked about a little bit earlier. And you fully believe that your mum helped you with that, yeah? So
100%.
please tell us.
Yeah, 100%. So, I'd never been a homebody, like never, until I met my ex, and he was a lot more grounded than me, and he definitely helped ground me. And when we got our house, I did turn into a bit of a homebody. I'd be like admiring my knives and forks, and I'd want to stay in and that kind of thing. So when I left the house, I'd left my sort of security blanket, and I was somewhere where I didn't really realize, again, until you look back in hindsight, that I didn't feel settled in either of those rentals because they weren't mine. And my ex set about buying me out more or less straight away. So I started looking for houses, just waiting for the equity to drop, and we just kept getting delays after delays. And then I was getting knocked back for mortgages, and like it just, none of it was going right. And I was getting really frustrated, and I just wanted to feel normal again. I just wanted to rush this kind of, process through and get to where I wanted to go. And it was not happening. Mum passed in the April. In the August, the bank holiday weekend, it all finally, from months of trying, all finally came through. He managed to buy me out and I got my equity, and I'd been that kind of like stressed and annoyed with all the, failings, for want of a better expression, from when I had previously been looking, that I'd stopped the right move alerts because I didn't want to see anything that I liked and then not be able to have it. Like I'd shut myself off from it completely. As this equity had landed, one of my friends said to me, like, "Oh my God, this is so exciting. Like, are you going to start looking?" And I was like, no, I don't even want to. Like, my life's been that turbulent recently. I'm only just starting to kind of feel like things are calming down a little bit. Like, I don't even want to look. And then I was like, why are you not? You've got this money sitting in your bank account. That is what it's for. Like, why are you not looking? And I went on Rightmove that afternoon, found this house, saved it on my little list to viewing in, went to see it maybe the day or 2 days later. As soon as I walked into the house, I was just like, this is my house. Like, I just had such a good feeling, but like I could see myself in it, and I just thought, this is it. There's no question. I'd already gone through the kind of whole mortgage application sort of procedure. So I contacted the lady who had done that for me, 7-8 months prior, and said, right, can we sort of reopen this back up? By 10 o'clock that evening, I had a mortgage in principle. By the end of the week, I'd had the offer accepted on the house. And the whole process, I mean, obviously I wasn't in a chain, which did help massively, but the whole process, I found that house, let's say the 1st of September, and I moved into it on the 8th of November. Like, everything just went through completely seamlessly. The first question the mortgage lady had had to ask me when we were reopening my application to fill everything in, maybe not the first one, but one of the, in the first section, was mother's maiden name. So mum she was just there on that, on that application. She was just, like I said before, we had so many, and we still have them now. We have so many signs, like unmistakable signs that she's here and she's with us. I've got no doubt that she was with us on that. I'm going to cry.
Oh, let it out, Ali, let it out. It's amazing. I got goosebumps when you were saying that, though, because again, like I've heard about this, obviously, and we've caught up and whatnot, but I didn't know that bit. I didn't know about your.
Did you not?
No, I didn't know that it was your mum's maiden name that got asked. So, like, it's given me goosebumps because like that's amazing, and I totally believe that she was just biding her time and waiting for
100%.
you, sorry, to find your dream house. And like you said, you walked into it and you felt it, you knew it, and that's when she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to let you have this one now."
Yeah.
Say about the previous owner as well, because that's really interesting about the house.
Yeah. So came and it was the owner that was actually showing me around, and straight away she's just so lovely and like really welcoming, and we got chatting, and she'd basically gone through exactly the same as me. This was her kind of single girl house, and she'd gone through a breakup and moved out and bought this house, and she said she'd absolutely loved living here, and then she'd met someone else and obviously was selling up to move in with him, and she told me all this and I was like, same, that's literally what I'm going through at the minute. And then I'd said to her, have you had much interest? And she said, being honest, yet there is another couple who I think they were wanting to buy to let, but she said to me, she was like, I'd just much rather it go to someone like you. She was like, I just know that you'll love living here as much as I have. And I do. Like I said to Han, like it's my little peace bubble. I'm so like protective over it.
It's like a little single people's like portal, isn't it? So that couple came in.
Let's hope so.
The house would have rejected them anyway. No, this is not for you. I'm not going to help you. Not having any Tom, Dick, and Harry in here.
Just lovely single ladies. Oh no, I love that bit about the story though, because I think like that's just again the universe putting you where you needed to be at that time, and the owner could have been anyone, but it was someone that had just lived the life that you're just about to in that house and that you are now.
And it kind of gives you hope as well, like in a way that she's found somebody. I'm not saying you have to find somebody.
You will
I'm not saying you have to, like, to find someone to have happiness, but like at the end of the day, we are all humans. We are a pack, aren't we? We like obviously to have people around. Like you don't want to live and die alone. But it's like, oh well, if this house has guided her that way, it's like that's what it's going to do for me as well. So
100%. Yeah.
Oh,
and I did, as soon as I moved in, like the first night, I just felt at home.
Yeah, no,
Just,
that's great.
relaxed.
Oh, and you also went to Bali as well?
Yeah. So that was another one that I said to my friend, I think I'd moved out the Airbnb into the rental, and my friend had come around to see me, and I said to her, I was like, I really want to go to Bali. And she was like, okay, maybe aim a little bit lower for this year, maybe next year, sort of thing. Like you've had a lot on your plate, and like obviously financially, things are challenging when you're on your own, and especially when you in rentals and stuff. And I thought, no, I'm going to Bali. Like I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I am going to Bali as part of, like I said to you before, my meditation does look different every evening, and sometimes it's journaling, sometimes it's like manifesting, sometimes it's EFT tapping. And so many times I wrote down in my little manifesting diary, I'm going to Bali. I'm going to Bali for 2 weeks. I'm going to Bali in November. And what did I do? I went to Bali. Yeah. And the synchronicities were there as well. The 444 was there as well, all the time.
No, it's funny what you say about journaling though, because they say, isn't it, it's how you train the brain, like neurological.
It is neurological pathways.
It's like if you lift your left arm up, and then you think about lifting your left arm, it's exactly the same. So if you tell your brain that you're going to go here or you're doing this, it thinks that you're doing it. So
there, you've got to embody what you want to become and where you want to be, and what you want to do.
But again, it's that childlike thing, obviously with Phoebe, she just tells me that she wants to be this princess or she wants to go here, and she sort of questions everything so innocently, and she's just obviously finding out about life, and it almost gives me a second chance to be childlike again. And I love it. Like when you were saying earlier with the tooth fairy and stuff. And I was like, that is probably one of the best things about parenting, is that you can go back and believe again and believe in that magic. And that's for me part of what manifestation and gratitude and all the stuff we've been talking about is about. It's just like the adult version of it. Do you know what I mean? Which is amazing. And when you was in Bali, there was lots of things that were going on that was the same. So tell us about these moments that kept coming up when you were actually in Bali in sort of that spiritual environment.
Yeah, I mean, God, it is like a really incredible place, isn't it? Hannah, I know you've been. Lucy, I don't know if
you'd love it,
you
Lucy.
Need to go. You would love it. You need
love
to
it.
go.
No, but she wouldn't come back.
Yeah, you'd be doing the pod from Bali. Yeah, like I knew I kind of, obviously Bali's been having a bit of a moment, hasn't it, on like social media and everything. And then we go back to whatever year, 2013 was it? Eat, Pray, Love, like that kind of, spiritual awakening kind of thing. I think it put it on the map for the mainstream for that. And it's always kind of stayed in my mind. And again, with yoga, there's so many yoga retreats and teacher training in Bali. So I knew it was a really like spiritual place before I went anyway. And I met a friend. We both traveled together. She'd had a very difficult year as well with lots of other personal bits. And we thought, right, come on, girls' trip, let's go. And on the second day, we said, let's go and do one of these. They do like water ceremonies in the temples, like a blessing almost. So we're like, let's go and cleanse ourselves and do this. So off we went. We had this gorgeous, gorgeous guide came and picked us up. She was just so lovely and took us to this temple, maybe, I don't know, like an hour's drive away or something, not too far. But whether this was just how it was at that particular temple or just on that day we went, I don't know, but we were the only Westerners there. And as we were walking into the temple, so my friend also, a bit spiritual and we woo, her number, as mine is the 444, hers is 1111. As we were walking into the temple, she like took a picture as we were coming down the stairs because the view was just beautiful. And it was 11:11 when I think her phone must have still been on.
UK
She lives in Oz. No, she lives in Oz, and I think her phone must have still been on like Perth time or something because it definitely wasn't that time. But whatever, 11:11 was on her phone when she took that picture, and we were like, oh, that's nice. And then off we went and we did this ceremony and we did the blessing. And after we'd gone through, there was like different stations almost. I mean, I'll be absolutely butchering this, so sorry for my ignorance. But there were these like different stations where you like went in the water and stuff. And then once you'd done all those different ones, it was like a cave, I suppose. And there was a priest again. I don't know if he is a priest. That's really bad of me, but this is figure. Yeah, he was there and he was like, giving blessings out and everything. And my friend took a picture of me as I was receiving my blessing from the priest. And we did not think anything more of it. And then later on that day when we got back to where we were staying, I said, oh, send me all the photos that you took because I didn't take any. And the one that she took of me when I was getting my blessing was at 4:44.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it?
So it's there on the screen, 4:44. Went to bed that night or a couple of nights later, and the jet lag was absolutely killing me. Like every night being there, sort of 2, 3 in the morning, I'd be waking up. And I woke up as I did and I felt cold. So I was like, right, turn the aircon off, grab my phone to get the torch to find where the aircon remote was. And as I picked up my phone, it was the 4th of December. And the time was 4:44 a.m.
You just can't make this up. That's what it's just amazing, isn't it?
I can't ignore this anymore.
No.
Sort of thing.
No.
So,
and then obviously rolling on from that, you've always had your yoga page. I'm going to let Hannah go into this more because Hannah does your yoga with you, doesn't she?
Yes. I to be fair, I got into yoga through meeting Ali, and I had not done it before. My previous exercise sort of go-tos were the fast, spinning classes, boxing, anything that was going to get my heart rate up. And I think that just matches my energy as a personality. And then I met Ali and got to know her from a yoga perspective, and she did hot pod yoga. So I was like, oh, I'll come and try that out. Basically, you're in this like massive tent, and it is like baking hot in there, and you've got to stretch like you've never stretched before whilst dripping with sweat. I'm doing downward dog. I've never done that in my life, and I've got blimmin'.
Are you sure?
This is meant to be a clean podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole different episode.
Well, he is putting a ring on it, isn't he? So what can I say? But yeah, so you're like doing these positions. So anyway, I did my first yoga class, hot pod yoga, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck is this? I can't do this again. This is ridiculous. But yeah, I really started getting into it. I kept doing some of your classes, and you did some classes through Rachel, obviously. I came to them, and I just like sort of come as many to as many of them as I can, obviously within reason, and obviously always
Yeah.
supported your yoga journey. And I will say she's an excellent teacher. And Ali is actually going to be hosting a yoga class at my wedding. So which you
God,
two
I
are obviously
have,
are both
yeah.
coming to. So Lucy, you definitely need to get involved with whatever you can.
Yoga, yeah.
Yes.
On
I
one
don't know
leg.
how that's going to go. Like the hungover wedding the day, hungover
I've
yoga
got
the day
I've
after
got
the
faith in
wedding.
you. But yeah,
Mm.
no, and obviously yoga for you has always been a massive part of your life. And obviously I can only imagine it's got stronger as sort of this chunk of time in your life as you've navigated your way through it. So can you tell us what you love about doing the sort of teaching side of it, and what you want to give to the people that, you know, invest in kind of your yoga journey?
I think for me, the teaching side of it is just sharing something that you enjoy and something that's spoken to you, and being able to share that with other people, which sounds so cheesy. But yeah, that is it. You know, I do it part time. I've got a full time sort of normal job, and there are some evenings where I think, God, I'm knackered. Like I can't. If I got to go and teach a class now, and I leave so much happier and so glad that I've done it. Like the people at the end that come up and say, "Oh, thanks, I really enjoyed that. Oh, really didn't feel like coming tonight, and I'm so glad I did." And it can be from that physical kind of exercise side of things, or it can be just a mum or someone with a busy life, or someone with some going through a difficulty or anything, just coming and giving themselves an hour. And with yoga, it's like I go to the gym and I love the gym, but when I'm in between sets, I'm checking my phone, I'm on my watch. Your focus is in a lot of other places, whereas on the mat, you've not got your phone, it's in the changing room. If you do have it next to you, it's probably on, or hopefully on do not disturb. Like it's just you. The only thing you've got to concentrate on is, right, where am I putting my right arm? What's my left leg doing? How does that feel? What am I doing it right? Well, does it really matter? I can't see what I'm doing anyway, because like there's no mirrors and stuff up in the studio. And yeah, it's just being able to share something that I enjoy with other people and finding their enjoyment in it as well.
Yeah, and I've also seen on your Instagram, it's not all about wellness last year. You still got that little party girl underneath there, and I saw that you were living your best single summer life. So how do
That
you
makes
mix?
it sound like I've been up to all sorts.
I mean, I can spill some more secrets if you want.
How do you find? Because obviously it is about balance. Like you can't. I totally agree. Again, you can't be too much of one thing. Life is life. How do you find that balance between yoga, wellness, and Ali? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little party girl, definitely in my repping days, and she has, I'd say, 90% retired. Probably, she's still something in there, just fighting to get out every now and again, and then I remember that I can't do it anymore. But exactly that it is. It's just that it's that balance. Like I know that doing yoga and meditation and mindset work helps me massively. It calms me, it centers me, it grounds me, it enables me to stay sane. But I also know that if I only did that, I would go insane,
Yeah.
because I enjoy a glass of wine. I enjoy eating Nutella out the jar. I enjoy going out, like dancing with my friends, and it's, you've got to feed like all parts of your soul. And again, that sounds so cheesy, but it's so
No,
true.
it is.
And like I think my, like when I started that yoga page that you're referring to, it was a yoga page, and I don't think it is anymore. It's a little
No.
bit of like, yeah, there's the yoga in there, but like I was going through a really hard time, and I just kind of started using it as a bit of an outlet, I suppose.
Like a
Like,
journal kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't say I poured everything into it, because I think some things you tell your friends or you
Yeah.
journal it yourself, and some things are private, aren't they? But there was definitely like things that I learned that I thought, do you know what? I've learned that myself the harder way. So if I put that on my page, that might just help one other
Yeah.
person.
I know
Yeah.
one thing I loved on yours, and it was like your healing happens when you live.
Yeah, it is. It
100%.
is. Yeah, you can sit there and do all the, healing work, but then it gets to a point where you feel like a project.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a project. Yes, you're healing, but life is going on. So
Yeah.
live it, going back to mum's mindset. Fuck
Yeah.
it. Live
Fuck
it.
it, yeah. And I think you never stop healing anyway, because you might
No.
heal from one wound, but it might get triggered with something else that happens in your life a long time in the future, or even the next week or something. So I think that you can work on healing and get to a place where you feel satisfied with your mental health, and then you've got to then just continue to live, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, as the phrase and saying goes, you're not promised tomorrow. So it's almost like you've got to do that healing, but you've also got to then put that positive mindset that you've worked so hard to get to into practice by actually going out there and enjoying life, because you never know when it's going to get triggered again, or if it's going to get triggered again. And I think with your wellness page as well, when you were saying that you're like not putting all of you into it, but you're obviously trying to help people, and if you've experienced it the hard way, this might help someone else. Like, that's so lovely that you are considering that when you're doing it. You're thinking, I could be helping one person right now by just sort of being a bit more vulnerable. And again, it's so tough to do when you've got a social media platform and you've got people that kind of know you for you. And me and Lisa have had conversations about this since starting this pod, and people are going to be looking at you and being like, what's she doing that for? Why is she sharing that? What's she doing? And to move all that out of the way and just think, like your mum says, fuck it. I'm doing this. It's such a liberating feeling. And I think that's amazing. And the sort of helping people, that's why me and Luce want to do this, because people like you, Ali, and all our guests, without you, we haven't got this. And the things that we are learning every time we speak to someone, it's just amazing. Like, we genuinely love getting on these pods and being like, right, we're speaking to this person tonight. They're going to talk to us about X, Y, and Z. And we're really hoping that our listeners feel the same. And again, if we can help one or two people or whatever, we can get out to someone that might really embrace and resonate with this, then you can feel a little bit good about yourself, feel like you're putting good into the world, right?
Yeah. Totally. And like you say, it can be a bit like, oh God, do I really want to put this out there? Or oh, what are they going to think of me? And, what am I actually trying to do here? But then, why not? It's your creative outlet, whether that's a podcast or an Instagram page or a blog, like whatever it is, one person might read it, but that one person might really resonate with it.
And for listeners, obviously riding their own storm now through endings, grief, identity shifts, heartbreak that they've caused themselves, what would you tell them from where you are now?
Oh God, all the cliches that you don't want to hear. When people say them, you just want to slap them around the face, but they really are true. Like, so much can change in a day, a week, a year. Ride the wave and just don't rush it. Because I definitely tried to do that in lots of areas, because you just want to feel normal again, whether that's going into another relationship, whether that's not feeling that grief, that sadness anymore, whether that's moving into your house, whatever it is, you just want to feel okay. And you will, you 100% you will, but sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, and that's okay.
Yeah. And I think that brings us perfectly to what we always end our episodes with, and we ask every single guest. So, who is Ali becoming now?
Who am I becoming now? I have no idea, and that's the best part.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wait and see
Wait
what
and
comes
see.
in 2026.
Yeah.
Just moving into, the next phase. And I'm just excited to see what that looks like and what that has in store for me, I guess.
So we'll look
Amazing.
forward to Ali riding a horse into
Yeah.
2026.
I'm allergic to horses, though.
And I think we should. I was thinking as well, like, we should definitely dedicate this episode to your mum and call it the fuck it episode. Because I just think that, like, that has been the theme throughout, and I think your mum will be looking down on you now and being like, do you know what? That's how I wanted to do it. And look at Ali, she's saying fuck it to everything and enjoying her life. So let's dedicate it to your mum and call it the fuck it episode.
100%. Thank you so much.
That's fine. Sod the algorithm. But like I say, if anyone can take anything from today, I think we've really just got to go on. Trust your intuition. Like I say, talking about your mum, trust your signs with the 444. And again, never underestimate your resilience.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ali, for coming on. We've really loved this chat and hope everyone listening has done so too. If you want to know more about Ali, it's Ali_Walker_wellness for the Instagram page. Like I said, she shares her soul, which we love. But no, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And for that,
thank you for having me.
And it's bye from me.
Bye from me. And again, Ali is located in Chesterfield, just
Chesterfield.
Getting my words out there, just in case anyone does want to attend, obviously in person yoga or anything like that. You know where she is on the map. And again, thanks for listening. For those people who've liked today's episode, please like, subscribe. It just helps us top us up the charts and let us know that we're popular. And also lets us know when our next episodes are out for you guys to listen. So have a great evening, everybody. And bye.
See ya. Bye.